minutes turned into like
fucking ever.
fucking ever.
Yeah.
He had to dye the gray out of his beard, bro. That's fucking funny,
Yeah.
dude. That's funny, Tyler. Nice job.
Yeah, man, gotta be presentable, dude.
No, I was Yonk and I were talking, but yeah, so a bunch of like 1%ers pulled up to pick up a bunch of moonshine outside of his bar, and something went wrong. And him and his buddies ended up going out and like kicking fucking the leader's bike over or some shit, started a big fight. Well, they came back and they burned the fucking bar down. It was like we're talking about my grandfather. But yeah, apparently they came back and like burned the bar down later and shit. And there was this whole like feud with him and these bikers down in the fucking holler. It was crazy.
Just recently?
No, this was years ago. Jack and I were talking about. I wish my dad was still around because nobody will tell me what kind of sketchy shit he was into, but there's clues. There's always been clues. Like there was some funny shit going on with him. So, and I was telling Yonk, I'm like with my history and my past at this point, I think he might actually talk to me about it. It would be cool to find out, but he's been gone like 20 years. So
yeah, I remember. Oh man, it was probably 12 years ago or something by now. I was in Canton and we went to that, I don't know, it's like a little spot that's known for their like fish and chips, you know what I mean? It's called Fisher's or something.
Is it the grocery store?
No, it's like a little restaurant. And
does it look like a surf shack kind of?
It's kind of like a diner almost.
Yeah. I think that's right around the corner from us. We go down there and get seafood all the time from there.
It might be. I think it's called like Tim Fisher's or Fisher's. I could be totally wrong. Okay. But it's like a pretty well-known little spot around there. But anyway, I went there to eat one time and unbeknownst to me, it was like a friggin' which one's not the Hells Angels, which one's the other one that's big around this area?
Mongols?
You're talking the ones out of Akron? I don't remember.
North Coast.
Yeah,
it might even have been the Hells Angels. But anyway, yeah, there's like 50, these fucking bikers in here, and they're fucking
getting wild.
Pretty unsavory looking characters, dude. Not just like, couple frail old retired dudes with biker jackets on. I mean, there's some big motherfuckers in there. I was like, yes, definitely some shit going on in here. Nothing happened, but I, walked in there. It's like,
I'll tell you, man, I've always told my daughter, like, this used to be the rule back in the day. I don't know how much I would trust this anymore with the way the world has kind of progressed, but the rule used to be, man, if a female is ever in a situation, you go grab a trucker or a fucking biker, dude. Like 9 times out of 10, they're going to be the ones that are going to be willing to help you before anybody else.
Right, that's true.
But that's what Mary's dad always told her. You always grab a trucker or a biker. But luckily nothing's ever happened. I mean, even now, like I took training courses right when I became a truck driver, like to spot like human trafficking and shit like that. But I don't know. The world's fucked up. I don't know who I really trust anymore. Like,
yeah, you never know.
Trust me. You trust me. I'm gonna follow my fucking intuition, man.
All right. Well, we're live, so I don't know. I wanted to talk to Tyler about fucking taking 3 years to get on the.
Yeah.
This morning.
It was like we were at breakfast again, Ty.
I wanted to call him out. I went all the way back through our text messages for like 4 days. I'm like, I swore I said 10 o'clock, but there was nothing. I couldn't throw it in your face.
Yeah, I didn't remember there being a time either. I was like, yeah, I figured we sometime around now.
I know we said Sunday morning, and it kind of like fell off after that.
Yeah, my sleep schedule's a little fucked up right now.
Yeah, fucking with all those little Chinese boys on Call of Duty.
Yep. Yeah, that's happens when you
haven't been playing, or
ping on those late night servers, dude. That's all you get.
TikTok now it's the only way you can communicate with your.
No, I've been playing this Marvel Rivals a little more.
Right on.
Yeah.
I've been thinking,
when you're on winter vacation, I don't got nothing to do. My schoolwork doesn't need to be done at 7 a.m, so shit, I ain't been getting up.
I'd be, dude. I don't think I could take that much time off work, man. I'd be going fucking hard.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going through right now. I mean, it's nice, but then there's some parts of the day where it's not nice. You're like, okay, this is
Like
getting a
some,
little ridiculous,
yeah.
but I was prepared for it financially, so it don't,
No, and I think, I mean, this is kind of a good segue into what we were going to talk about anyway, but I've always been a firm believer of you need you time just as much as you need to be productive. You know what I mean? Like you need downtime, man. And
That's
I've said it before on here. Yeah, I've said it before on here, man. Like I give you credit, man, because in season you don't fucking stop.
Mm.
Uh,
Well, this has been the longest break I've had in just 8 to 10 years period. You know what I mean? So it's like, whether it was needed or not, which, I could argue that it was, because that's one thing I've struggled with, and I've tried to put more of a focus on this last year or two, kind of dealing with coming up on one of those kind of burnout phases where I'm like, all right, I need to really be a lot more cognizant about, taking a little more time for myself and having a little more balance. Once again, it's a double-edged sword, right? It's like, one part of me is like, go, 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 grind, grind, grind. And then I'm like, wait a minute, like, this doesn't feel great all the time.
Well, no, and I think first of all, I think it's programmed kind of in our DNA to go, go, go all the time. If you're any sort of a productive male, like that's in your DNA to get up and go to work and be productive, But I can attest, dude, like I get burned out working weekend. I finally found like a good balance where, I mean, you guys know I work 3.5 days a week and then I'm home 3.5 days a week. And I think for the first time ever, I'm actually like pretty even keel, pretty balanced. I mean, I make good money. I'm not worried about my financials. Mary makes good. Like we're good. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like I'm necessarily killing myself, but I know the burnout all too well, man. And even now, dude, even now, me working 3.5 days a week, there's days that Sunday's rolling around and I'm itching. I'm like, I gotta go do something, especially this time of year when there's not a whole lot you can do around the house. Like you can burn through a honeydew list in 1-2 days, couple weeks if you got big projects to do, a couple weeks and you're kind of out of stuff to do.
That's how it was the last year and a half, man. That out of town work took it out of me, bro. It's just, I sacrificed money for health and, a lot of other fucking things, that you just being away like that is strain, and it's like I come home and, it's funny because then, you're stressed out, not about money, but you're stressed out about, taking care of your life obligations at home and stuff like that. And then, like just this, when I had that little hospital visit or whatever, my blood pressure thing was right around Christmas time. They laid us off for a week, whatever. I was stressing about that. I just started noticing like internal negative dialogue all the fucking time. You know what I mean? And like Eva notices it, the fuck everybody else in the world notices it. And then, and then my blood pressure was sky high just because, like you said, Chris, I feel like, I need to be out earning, dude. I need to be, if I'm not bringing money in, dude, if there's money sitting, it is a stressful thing for me because if there's not any coming in, that money needs to be doing something with itself. You know what I mean? And it's like, if there's nothing coming in and I'm just taking out, that's a real quick procedure, man, before you're upside down. So.
Yeah, and I mean, with how expensive everything is today, that's the one thing that I could always go make more money and I could always go run another day or two every week. But I come home and you're right, man. Being out of town, you come home and then you've got all the shit you got. I got to cook. I got to do laundry. I got to make sure the truck's clean. Got to make sure the dog's clean. Got to make sure I give my wife time. Got to make sure, you know what I mean? I handle whatever needs done at the house. It's grocery shopping. So it's even when you're home, you're still running your ass off.
Right.
Yeah, that's one thing.
And to fall on kind of what Tyler wanted to talk about today too, then I've noticed lately, man, like my gym time's suffering. Now I have injuries, dude. Like this time of year when the arthritis really kicks in, it gets tough for me to like get up and get mobile some days. But yeah, man, like the gym time's been suffering. Like I think it's just this time of the year too. But yeah, it's hard to keep going, man.
Yeah, it's winter time.
What was our topic? Because we never spoke about that. You said Tyler wanted to talk about. He had something we were gonna cover.
Oh, like mind, body, spirit shit.
Oh
like,
yeah. The balance. mind, body, and soul.
Yeah, staying balanced, staying healthy. But yeah, so Ty, you've been getting back into the gym more though, haven't you, Tyler?
Not really.
Well, let me ask you, why do you think that if you've got all this downtime, what do you think is hindering you from getting in the weight room?
Well, just, like mentally, I need to be pretty dialed in, right? Or locked in to be consistent in the gym, and call it an excuse or call it whatever you want. But I know I'm really kind of not there right now. So it's like, why even bother until I'm a pretty self-aware person, so it's like, I guess, I don't know, want to make sure I'm ready before I even take that leap, but I don't know. And also I rely on my muscle memory and my just athletic background in general, right? Because I'm like, well, I could put it down for a year and pick it up in a month and almost be right back where I'm at, and it's like, I kind of rely on that and use that as an excuse almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I did dial my diet back in because, took a little hiatus even from that, which you guys know me, I'm usually pretty on point with that kind of stuff. So yeah, the steps are being taken. It's just maybe a little slower than I would be kind of okay with, but yeah, and but also it's like, just the way my life's been for years, and the job that I have, it's not like by any means I'm looking like I just popped off the couch, but
Yeah.
it needs to, it just, not only from a physical standpoint, but from a mental standpoint, I definitely need to get back there because the physical activity and the exercise not only, obviously, makes you look better, you're in better shape, but mentally it it also does a great deal for me as well, so I don't get as stir crazy, right? So yeah, I'm like right around the corner, and my home gym, it's insulated out there, but it's once again, good old Ohio winter, and another excuse in the bag is be like, I don't want to walk out there and be all cold and shit.
Even if there's heat out there, it's not going to be heat. It's going to be warm for a while. You know what I mean?
And I haven't went out there and kicked it on yet. So that, like I said, I'm really good at kind of coming up with any little bit of an excuse to not quite go out there yet, but it's coming. It's coming.
I think a lot of my problem is, well, for one, with my shoulder and my back in this type of year, and again, it's excuses. It's kind of being like stagnant. I don't know if I'm giving my body enough time to heal. I know for the longest time, I think I was, not that I'm like some crazy fucking animal in the gym. I'm not saying that at all. But when you have injuries, you got to learn when to roll it back a little bit,
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I think for the longest time, I was pushing so hard to try and like just stay where I was at that I wasn't giving my shoulder time to heal. I was going in there and dead like a fucking dumbass still. So my back wasn't. So then I take this time off for a couple weeks. It was around Christmas. I think I took two weeks off the gym, and it had its benefits and it had its drawbacks. My body felt better, but mentally I felt like shit, So it's, I can't work out at home though. I've got this exercise. I've got a speed bike down in here. I just can't get into it at home. I have to like get up and go to the gym.
Me too.
Yeah, that's been one thing I've been pretty good with. And I know a lot of people, almost everyone I know that does work out has that same kind of deal. They're like, no, I have to physically go somewhere, and
It's almost like making a commitment. Like I drove here, I put in the work to get here. I'm at least putting an hour in, and then I'll leave. And if I can do more than an hour, then that's a benefit.
Yeah, I've been a pretty, self-starter for, quite a while. So it's easier for me personally to get locked in, and plus I'm not waiting for a machine. I'm not, getting my routine thrown off. But when I walk in there, it's time to handle business, and then I do my shit and I get out, right? So it's not like
this time of year it can be difficult. I know, especially Planet Fitnesses, when I'm out on the road during the week, it's a whole new breed of people coming in for the new year, new me, which I fully support 100%. I'm not talking shit about people that want to
No.
start going to the gym, but what I'm saying is like you get a lot of these people in there that have no gym etiquette, don't know. They'll sit on a machine and text for 20 minutes. And you go up and ask them if they're using a bench that they're just sitting on, and they're like, well, yeah, I'm using it. I'm fucking texting on it. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I have to go, man. But yeah, there's all kinds of hurdles like that. Yonk, you said was it you that said when you got stuck at home, you were waking up every morning and talking shit like that negative mindset?
Negative internal dialogue, dude. You know what I mean? And I know it when I get it, and I know it when it comes to me. You know, it's just everything. It just annoys me. And then there's two me's in the world. You know what I mean? There's the me that I showed everybody else, and then there's the voice in my head that's going off. You know what I mean? And it's either going to be positive type talk or it's going to be negative type talk, and there's really no fucking in between. You know what I mean? And it's like if people, if I said the things that are in my mind when I'm saying them, I would have no friends, no wife, nobody would fucking speak to me ever again.
That filter is definitely necessary. It's funny, man, because you guys know Mary. She fucking pisses me off so bad sometimes. She's the most charismatic, like upbeat, positive person that I've ever met. And everybody says the same thing, right? So like I struggle with the same shit. I wake up, roll out of bed, and my body hurts. I'm like, dude, fuck this. And I've been trying to get out of that mindset. Like when I wake up, just say, you're good. Things are good. You're going to have a good day. Right. And just shut up for 20 minutes. Like get your bearings and shut the fuck up for 20 minutes, dude. Like go through the motions and just keep telling yourself it's going to be a good day. But for the longest time, man, I would roll in the door after having a shitty day. And she always greets me at the door, big smile, hi baby, big hug. Like, you know what I mean? Positive. And I'm like, and I love the fuck out of her for it. But sometimes I'm like, would you just shut up? Like, and I want to be that positive. I really, truly, and I love her for it. I just can't be that positive sometimes, man.
Yeah.
It's weird it's weird how much I think it's way easier to go into the gym and get your body right than it is to put in the work to get your mind right. Yeah. Like it's like you have to stay consistent. You have to stay like focused on not letting that your inner demons or that inner voice tell you that like shit's all bad, you're having a shitty day, your back hurts, this sucks. Right. You know, it's like reprogramming. He was going to send me the book. He runs the Sobertown website, which they're actually growing really. Tyler, I don't know if you ever do like meetings from home or anything, or you ever want to check it out, but his name's Drifter. He's a really cool guy. I met it. He's a truck driver, but he started this website called Sobertown, and it's blown up. Like they're a 501(c)(3) now. Nonprofit. They got grant writers. They got a whole staff of people that like help with the website and the meetings and things like that. They do them all like over Zoom. They started during COVID, but he was supposed to send me this link or this book. It's I can't think of what the name of it is, but it's basically like reprogramming your thinking. Yeah. I'll tell
you one thing, man, and this is funny because I do this all the time because, you know, my trimmer, the kid that I got that works with me, you know, he's been with me for about 5 years, man. He's a great kid. You know, it's just he has a lot of negative internal dialogue and he has a lot of like, you know, he whenever the times get hard, he wants to run. You know what I mean? And it's like, and we've had nothing but hard times lately at work because the work sucks. It's really hard. It's fucking dangerous as hell. And he called this guy. He was going to quit. He wants to quit and go work at this other company. And I, you know, for me, it really does come down to, man, like, people don't have to sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and literally literally write down, you know, maybe some people do because their life has been great. But my gratitude list goes like this. A few short years ago, I was looking at 22 years in prison. I'm out here living a great fucking life with a beautiful wife, great kids. You know, everything about my life right now is everything I ever wish I could have in the past. And so, you know, I don't got to look far for some gratitude, man. I really don't, you know, and that internal dialogue, you know, what happens is you get tangled up in the moments of your life instead of backing off and looking at the big picture sometimes, you know what I mean? And it's like, all these little things that keep annoying the shit out of you, if you keep letting those little things get to you, then that's going to be your whole entire life, because that's all you're going to think about, because it's
Yeah.
all the little things that are tripping you up. You're forgetting that you're running a marathon, and you're, and you're winning, or at least in your mind, you're winning, or at least, not everybody is, but, some people should be feeling a lot more grateful for where their life is than they actually do, and maybe it's because they just haven't sat and thought about how bad it actually could be. You know what I mean? And it takes some TikTok video for them to see, and then they have that moment of truth with themselves in their head, and they're like, you know what? It could be a lot fucking worse, man. You know what I mean? It could be a
Well,
lot worse.
yeah, that's been a big like game changer for me over the last couple of years too. Is I am very quick to get caught up in the moment. The dogs bum rush me when I come home. When I walk upstairs, they bum rush. They jump. They're assholes. You know what I mean? Or like something stupid will happen out on the road, and I get a flat tire in the truck, and I'm down for a couple hours. And I'm like, oh, now I'm held up, and it's woe is me, and this fucking sucks, and I'm pissed. But yeah, man, turning around, and you're absolutely right. Looking at the big picture, dude, it was funny. Mary and I were talking the other day. You just said you were looking at 22 years in prison. We were out to dinner, I think it was like a week ago, and I told her, I said, do you know if I would have got stretched out on my sentence, I said, I wouldn't even be out of fucking prison yet.
Right.
Like, if they wanted to railroad me, I would have, I think another almost 8 years left on my fucking sentence. And by the grace of God, dude, I got 2 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I had a fucking record before that, so it's stuff like that, dude. It's like you said, man, I've got a house, I've got my truck in the driveway, I've got a beautiful family, beautiful wife. But you just get caught up in the moment, man. Like you get this little shit trips you up, and it's that old way of thinking where you're like, dude, fuck my life.
Right.
And that's such a stupid thing. Like, I don't know. It's so stupid that like we're literally sitting here having the conversation. Like we can look back and see how great our life is. I mean, dude, Tyler and I were locked up together. You know what I mean? And Tyler and I were monkeys in jail, and like we used to sit and talk about like how fucked up our lives were. And now I'm sitting here looking at this dude. He's got his own business. He's got a fucking whole ass family. He takes care of fucking other people's kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's fucking wild. And I can at least, and that's the other thing too, man. Like being able to look at like who you surround yourself with now too. Like our group chat goes all day, and I fucking love you guys, because whether it's 5 a.m. in the morning, 11 o'clock at night, if one of us pops on and is like, hey, shit's fucked up, somebody's answering. You know what I mean? And if they don't, then it's first thing in the morning. What's going on? You got to look at the big picture, man. I have a really great life. I have really great friends. I think that's but it's hard to do. It's fucking hard to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's never something that's gonna be completed, right? There's not really a finish line, so to speak.
No, there's not.
That's something I need to remind myself of too, when that negative internal dialogue kind of kicks in, right? Seeking balance is kind of balance within itself, right? There's never a time where it's going to be, oh man, I achieved balance, right? I mean, it's going to be a constant juggling act. It's going to be something that always needs worked on. And that's something I need to remind myself of, pretty often, which I don't really, I'm my own, I'm my worst critic, right? Me, myself, and I.
Yeah, that's human nature. That's everybody.
Yeah, I mean, people around me will be like,
nobody else is looking at you like, man, Tyler's really fucking upright. Like,
right.
He's a real.
And then like I'll be sitting here, it's 2:00 in the afternoon, it's winter time, and I'm like, damn, what the fuck am I doing with myself right now? It's like, hold on a minute, and but it's real easy to kind of go down that road, and it's something that I tell myself, like, hey, like, let's take a minute and look at this for what it is. Like, I've earned the right to kind of sit on my ass and not do anything for a little bit. And it still doesn't make it easier all the time, but it's not like I'm sitting here like being a bum and, not paying my bills and whatever, right. And I took an extra class this semester to kind of make up for, some of the downtime. So, everything's right where it needs to be. And you know, and usually I'm that person in my household. I'm the positive one, right? I'm the one that's like, hey guys, like, you know,
Reel it in. Yeah.
oh yeah. And but when I'm a little off, you know, it affects everyone else too, right?
Well,
Then the next thing you know, everyone's looking at me like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Where'd that come
You
from?
know?
no, Mary is a go getter, dude. Like she wants to
Mm,
advance as far as she can in her career. I love her for it. She took on this Bank of America account, and it's been a wild ride, dude. Like they beat her up pretty bad, and for me to come home on Thursdays or come whenever I get home and she's been beat up all week, dude. Like, and it's getting to a point where her and I have kind of had the conversation. I'm like, I don't like, I'm here for you, obviously. Like, I'll be as positive as I can, but it's hard for me to watch. You know what I mean? She's the one that keeps kind of like the positivity in the house. So when she gets beat up, for me to have to bring the positivity to the table, I'm like, I'm not a positive dude, man. I'm not that guy. But
yeah. I
no,
mean, marriage is the same way, and relationships are the same way, right? I mean, not only in life do we have to pick up slack in other areas, but in relationships as well, you know? Because, like, when my wife's off or feeling a little down, you know, I'm picking her up, and then, you know, and then she does her best too when I'm kind of getting in my head about shit. She's like, "Hey, you know," because it's, you know, being a business owner as well, it's like, I think we can all attest to kind of the workforce isn't quite maybe what it used to be, and
right.
it's hard on me, right? It's like, well, no one's going to care about your business more than you. I, you know, totally understand that, but it's like, damn, you know, when you feel like you don't have anyone you can rely on, you know, it's hard, you know, and especially when you're the type of person that's always trying to kind of give someone a chance or help someone out or just help people in general. It kind of puts you in a tough position. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, well, it makes you just want to, you know, then you start to have those thoughts, right? I mean, I had a kick-ass year, right? Everything went great, but then here I am still, you know, it's January, and I'm like, man, it almost makes you feel like, man, I just jumped ship, and you know,
Do something else.
just fuck it,
I know
you know.
Yeah.
that's like I was saying to you, you know, in our group chat that one day. It was like, dude, you know, most businesses that start out, dude, if they break even at that first year or two, that they're doing pretty damn good. They're off on the right foot. To have made a substantial amount of money over the year that you can actually take that time off because you've got money stacked up already
Yeah.
is you know, if you quit now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, man, no way, no way,
Yeah.
no
No,
way. You got to
not the
give it 3 years, man. If it ain't what you need it to be by then, but right now, knowing what I know about your business and the kind of money that you've made in it in the 8 months you were doing it or 9 months or whatever on, you know, your first real good go at it. You
Mm.
would be insane to stop now because you come so far. Look how much you've given into
Yeah.
this, man. You know what I mean? You do, and I admire
you,
the shit
you
out of you from, you know, because of the
yeah.
way that your work ethic. Because you know, I got all the skill in the world to do what you do. The only problem is I don't have the drive you got. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm more like, you know, I want to focus, you know, more attention on this or more attention on that, and I want to come home and shut work off for the day. That's what I want to do. And you know, you
Yeah.
don't. You know what I mean? You probably send emails and invoices and blah 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 when you get home after 6 7 o'clock at night. You know, got to go look at these other 3 jobs. You know, it's a rat race, man, and I really do applaud you for that.
Yeah, and it's yeah, and you know, and once again, we go back and we take a step back, and it's like, you know, this shit's, you know, really actually pretty sweet, right? I mean, you know, I took my family on a vacation for a month, you know, and I can do that. You
Right.
know, I can not schedule work for, you know, there's plenty of
Yeah.
pros, and
Yeah.
but once again, you know, that cabin fever kicks in, you know, and it's January, and I'm just like that 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 internal dialogue just really ramps up, you know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah.
it's just staying focused, and you know, and it's like also too, it's like, yeah, I got this going on over here, but you know, I also have a very, very strong and sturdy kind of, you know, fallback if I need to, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
know, I could,
Right.
I mean, not to toot my own horn, but my resume is pretty stacked. And it's like, if, and have have a degree, and, there's plenty of wiggle room. And that's what I'm saying. Like, a reoccurring theme in my life the last 10 years, has been, there's 24 karat problems, right?
Right.
Like my problems today and my problems what they used to be are night and day. But I'm still good at, turning molehills into mountains and be like, oh
Yeah.
man, this is fucking shitty.
Yeah,
Like,
well, I think
yeah.
like to touch on that real quick. I had a guy on Thursday, CJ Marcano, great dude. He's a former Marine and he works in halfway houses now. But him and I were talking, and one thing that this was like a big thing we talked about was one of the best ways is one of the best ways to look at things is your highs aren't going to be your highs unless you have those lows, unless you have those days where you get kicked in the dick and
Yeah.
dragged through the mud, and learn how to deal with those and learn how to have the right mindset going through those and coming out of those. Then when you do have time to enjoy yourself and when there is some sort of peace in your life, you're not going to appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I have continuously kind of tried to tell myself when I start getting in a bad mood. Like, how you handle this now is going to make like your peaceful time way easier, way better. You know what I mean? It'll make your life better. You have to go through some adversity. You have to have the coping skills to deal with it the correct way in order to be happy on the back end.
Another thing too, man. Another thing too is I feel like, I like Tyler. I know you from recovery. We didn't know each other before, but I think that in your life you've never ever stacked together wins like you are now. But you still, as you got all this time to sit and think at home by yourself, you probably still have a little bit of self-doubt from when you was fucking your life up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like those little things come creeping back in when you got all this time to think. And it's like, instead of focusing on all these wins you've been getting lately, you back the camera up too far, and then you look at the first maybe 10 years of your adult life or whatever, and then you think about, you just start doubting, man, I don't know if I can get guys to help me with this, or oh man, this that or the other thing, and everybody's got that self-doubt inside of them somewhere. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's scared to lose. 'Cause I'm gonna tell you something, that a lot of people that don't succeed, they fail on purpose because they understand that success is hard and it's not ever, and you don't have it. You rent it. You don't keep it. You just got it for the moment. You know what I mean? And it's like, you had success at this tree job, but tomorrow's a new one and that thing's right over that fucking house, and you know what I mean? And it's like, and I do the same exact thing, man. And it's like, and you're just like, man, you start doubting, like, dude, I don't want to get myself killed today. I don't want to get this guy killed today. And it's like, it's scarier than hell, especially doing what we do. You know what I mean? Like, the decisions I make could change or take somebody's life. And it's like that doubt comes in really, really hard, in life with some of that stuff, man. It's like, it's hard to not think about your failures, man, whenever, when everything isn't going exactly how you think it should. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's when you start being like, well, I can rely on me, but I can't rely on them. You know what I mean? And it's like, and that's a hard place to be, but you're going to fucking get it, dude. You're going to be just fucking fine, man.
Yeah, like I said, God does all that for a reason. He's going to drag you through the mud. Nobody's going to have there's a Jordan Peterson put out some like reel. It was a while back, and he's like, you don't want the life where you're on the beach drinking margaritas all day. Like, he was like, that's not realistic. He was like, you have to have adversity in your life. You have to have problems in your life. You have to have issues. You have to have obstacles to overcome. Otherwise, you'll never have any self-worth.
Yeah.
Like, there will be absolutely no value.
Yeah, we've all been put in a very unique position, right? Kind of what we've been through and what our life used to be and what they are today. I mean, a lot, I think we have an advantage in life, to be honest, because we know, what it looks like on the other side of the fence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of people that don't really understand how bad life can get.
Right.
You know what I mean? So not only has our character kind of been built on a different kind of foundation, but we actually can handle a lot of adverse situations with a lot of grace. And when something's happening and shit's hitting the fan, who do you think they call to ask for some advice? Or
somebody,
like, hey, Dad, this is what's going on. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this? Right? I mean, I'm that guy for a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I used to be that guy where like, yeah, don't even fucking bother fucking hitting that dude up. Like he ain't. You know what I mean? And it's like,
no, I successfully lost.
Yeah, and then I got people calling me that shit about 10, 15 years ago, dude. They're the ones fucking being like, yeah, that dude's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
And it's once again, right? Problems are all circumstantial. I can speak for myself. It's like, it's easy to kind of put yourself into that rut real quick and be like, man, this isn't quite what I thought it was going to be at this, moment in time. Right. But I'm also not naive to the fact like, hey man, like shit's actually fucking sweet. I know it is. It's just, the mind is a very tricky thing. Right. And it can try to tell us a whole bunch of shit that
Yep.
Well, you figure for me, you figure the first 20 years of my life, dude, I was medicating all of my issues with substances. I was hurting people on a regular basis. So then you have the whole aspect of like regret that topples on top of not being able to deal with your emotions without substances, so on and so forth. And then you finally so you've literally programmed your mind for the first 20 years just to be negative, just to be a victim, to be just a cog in a fucked up wheel. And so then when we get to this point where we're trying to like work on our issues, work on our past trauma, learn how to deal with like consequences the right way, deal with adversity the right way, our mind's already programmed to go back to that old, they talk about it in AA. It's already programmed to go back to like that old way of thinking, and it's like I said earlier, man, it's a huge obstacle. It takes a lot of work. I've got a buddy right now. He's kind of going through some things with his girl, and there's a lot of like unresolved trauma from like her life. So it's breeding like a lot of trust issues. And I had a conversation with him yesterday, and I'm like, bro, if she's not willing to put in the work to like fix how she thinks and how she perceives things and how she like deals with you because of her own issues, nothing's going to get better in your relationship. Like you have to like guard your heart and understand like people got to work on themselves. And if she's not willing to do that, it's going to go right back to being all bad again,
I'll tell you what, man, that's another thing. I've heard people say and things like that, like, "Oh, dude, you don't want to mess with a girl from the program or from AA or somebody who's been, the hell I don't. Those people are the only ones that are embarking on any kind of self-help journeys in their life. Yeah. Everybody else is making excuses for their behavior and then just finding new people to be around when it doesn't suit the other person anymore. If you ain't stopping and taking a good look in the mirror, man, you and me ain't got that much in common, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like if everything's everyone else's fault in life, man, I don't know. I can't help you.
Yeah. I'll tell you a quick story when Mary and I first got together. So when Mary and I first got together, I was still 100%. So, no, I think I was drinking maybe periodically a little bit here and there. But her and I got together. Flynn's dad, John, which I will make this statement real quick. I love John. John's a great dad. He's a great dude. Him and I bro out every time he comes over to get Flynn. But he was not a fan of me when Mary and I first started dating. He got a hold of my record and he called Mary one day and he said, "Why would you want somebody like that around our son?" And her response, this is why I fucking love her to death. Her response was, "This man's already he's on an upward trajectory. This is exactly who I want around my son. Somebody who's seen the pits of hell, climbed their way out of it. I want somebody that when Flynn comes home with problems, he's got somebody to talk to who has seen how rough life can get and he can guide him out of those moments,
Absolutely.
She's like, that's exactly who I want in his life.
Absolutely.
She's like, I don't want somebody that's perfect on paper, never seen any problems, never seen, right. She was like, that what are they going to teach our son? But yeah, I think you're right, man. I don't think people should date in the program. Like, first off, you need to get your life right before you're even in a relationship.
Yeah, I should have prefaced that.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler, You guys have seen it too many times. Like, you get these guys
Yeah.
that are like newly into the program or whatever, or trying to get their life together, and they think it's that whole codependency aspect.
Yeah.
Like, they need somebody in their life to make their life better. And I'm like,
Love
I'll
is a
tell you,
drug.
dude, my kid's mom, every time she starts getting a little bit of clean time under her belt, she immediately this is the first time I think she's been single in a long time, because she constantly jumped to, I need somebody in my life to make my life better. And I'm like, I would get so frustrated with her. I'd be like, you need to learn to love yourself and to work on yourself and to figure out like what's going on in your head, or else you're not going to be beneficial to anybody. You're going to
I
be in
was
another fucked
I
up
was
relationship.
I was single in AA long enough to have to question whether I wanted to even be with my wife now, Eva.
Yeah.
I literally had to do some fucking things in my head and be like, is it even worth the fucking hassle? You know what I mean? Is it, because I'm okay right now. I'm happy right now, man. My life's pretty good. I was just starting to do trees and stuff. I was feeling good, man. I had to talk myself into a relationship because I was like, I'm good right now. You know what I mean? And it's like, that everybody should be, every single person that that gets into some kind of relationship, that should, I feel like, should be their thought process. If you're going in there with the idea that you're capable of loving that person properly, and you don't need that person. You don't get with people that could, because you need them for something. You need a house. You need someone to
Yeah.
love you. You need mommy. You got mommy issues. You need somebody to hug you, or whatever the case is. I didn't need the relationship that I got. I don't, I don't know that was, ever going to be a way for me to run my life with, from a need standpoint. When you need something, that's when you get fucked. That's the
Yeah.
reality of it. You get it when it's good for you, when the time is right for you, but not when you need it, because when you need it, that's just like buying a car, man. You don't buy a car after your car blows up. You take your car up there a year before you think it might blow up, and then you get, $2,000 for it, and then you got something, and then now maybe your car payment or whatever is a little bit less. You don't approach life from a need standpoint, man, because that's where you're always going to lose, man.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, and it's a lot to do kind of backpedaling towards, the mind, body, and soul thing, right? It's like it's, at least in my life, one thing relies on the other. And when one thing's off, the other ones are off, and that, everything that we've kind of mentioned too is right, kind of lines up with that. It's because when we have a full plate, especially myself, there always seems to be one part that I'm kind of neglecting a little bit. You know, it's like I'm doing a lot with my kids. I'm really involved in family life, and then um, work's going good, and then I'm slacking off in like the school department, or vice versa. So it's
Yeah.
and a lot has to do with my spirituality and what I do for myself. And that's always one area in my life that I seem to always be neglecting the most. And that's one thing about being a breadwinner, being the man of the house. Always feel that constant pressure.
yeah.
From everyone around you
Oh
to
yeah.
you better perform, or
Damn right.
shit ain't good,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely
And
right.
it almost feels unfair to a certain point, but I thrive in that role. You know what I mean? That's where I've kind of found my home at, and then when my spirituality is suffering a little bit and I'm not really taking much time to kind of humble myself and be grateful, is when that role kind of gets, that's when I start to feel like, oh, this is unfair. How dare these people rely upon me? Like, I want someone to take care of me. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's like,
Yeah, but
um,
and I don't have a problem saying it. Mary makes more money than me, and I always have the joke of eventually being a sugar baby, right? Uh,
mhm.
but like, so like thinking about that though, I don't want to be a sugar baby, dude. I would be bored out of my mind. I would feel worthless. I already know I would be depressed on a daily basis. I have to get up and go. I'm the same. Like, as a man that has some sort of work ethic, a solid work ethic, if you're not producing, you're gonna fall into a rut. Like, dude, when I had my back surgery, man, I was out of work for like, I think 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks. Dude, I spiraled. Like, I was depressed as fuck. And that was a legitimate, like, I was out on medical. Like, I had a spinal fusion done, but just not being able to work.
Imagine the
I
ammunition for the fights too. The ammunition, the things that you got to hear from somebody that they're bringing home all the money and you are completely under their wing. You know what I mean? Like that
Oh, yeah.
fight is
No,
a
I'm
fight
not doing
I don't
that
ever
either.
want to
Yeah,
have.
I'm
Dude.
not doing that.
Yeah. If you are walking into a freaking gunfight with literally no arms or legs, not even a knife, not
Right.
even you are just getting whipped on, dude. And there's not. What are you gonna
Yeah.
say? What are you gonna do? Oh, you gonna leave? Where you gonna go? You ain't got no money. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're just sitting there taking all of it, bro.
You're gonna drive
Yeah.
out of here in the car that I own? Fuck out
Right,
of
yeah,
here.
right. No, you better get to walking. I hope you got your Lamborghini fucking gassed up, buddy, because I pay for that truck.
Blame.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's to just be in a healthy relationship in general. I mean, that's the fact of the matter is everyone has to kind of bring something to the table. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's just
I was raised in a household, man, where mom stayed home, but mom cooked, mom cleaned, mom handled the kids. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a full-time job. I'm not taking away anything from women that stayed home and take care of the kids, because I watched my mom grind all day long for no paycheck. You know what I mean? Like, it was just sheer, like, this is what needs done. I'm doing it. Dad brought home the money. So when I got with Mary, my first marriage, it was very similar. Des stayed home, took care of the kids. I went out and worked. She would get small jobs here or there, like working a couple hours a week, but I was the breadwinner. And then I got with Mary. And I'll tell you, that was an adjustment, because somebody that's used to being the breadwinner, it's kind of like there comes a point where, and I love the fact, like, now that I've adjusted to it, I love the fact that we're in a dual income house, because we live comfortable as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, we live within our means. We do not want for anything. If there's an outfit she wants, she buys it. If there's something I need for the podcast, I buy it. You know what I mean? But it was an adjustment, man, because for the longest time, when you're raised in that scenario, and then your first marriage is that scenario where everybody relies on you, and then you go into a situation where it's not a need, it's not a need, it's a want. Like in my first marriage, Desiree needed me to survive. You know what I mean? There would have been no income, And then Mary put it into perspective. It was a fight we got into, and she backed off, and she's like, I need you to understand something. She was like, I don't need you. And that was like a right hook to the jaw, bro, a haymaker, because my whole life, every woman I was with, they needed me, And like you said, that's not healthy, bro. Like, it took me a minute to understand that and realize that. She would always say, I don't need you. If you leave tomorrow, I can handle the bills. I can handle the house. I will be fine. But I want you. I want you here. I love you. You're my best friend. Like, I don't need you. I want you. And that, dude. And while I understand it and I love it now, that was a hard point for me to wrap my head around, know?
When that ego and pride gets deflated a little bit, you know?
Right.
I'm like, what do you mean you don't need me? Of course you need me. And she's like, I fucking want you. I don't need you.
And I'll tell you what, that honestly, from, when me and Eva got together, I wanted her to not just have a job, but I wanted her to have a job that she doesn't need me. She can go out on her own. She can go live her own life if I'm not around or whatever, because because there's a lot of women out there that might have been, put in those positions and they've been abused because of it. You know what I mean? So they're, and I think she might have some stories, similar to that. It's like when you're relying upon somebody like that, they've got all the power and they're going to dangle carrots over your face and then they're going to pull it away and then they're going to fuck with you. And it's like, I want our relationship to be good because we both want to be there, not because you ain't got nowhere to live. If we have a fight or whatever, you know, and you're just going to defer to something because I just got to do this for the kids, or you know what I mean? No. I want it to be an equal playing field, and women want equality, and I want them to have equality too. You know what I mean? I want an equal partner. I don't want somebody that, you know, after I come home after a hard day's work and, you know, they're like, can you help me with the dishes? It's like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? You've been here all day long, and then, you know, but they've been doing some other shit that you don't, you know, that you don't know that they were doing, and, you know, they were doing the, and so, and I don't know, I've never been in a relationship where I was the only one bringing in any kind of income, but I can only imagine me never being satisfied with the house when I walked in the door, or, you know, me not being satisfied with, oh, that's all you cooked tonight? Shit, you sat here all day long, you didn't do nothing. You know what I mean? I'm just, dude, I don't know, man. I can't see myself being good at that.
Well, I think in situations like that, there needs to be clear boundaries and communication as far as what's expected, and not that you're even like telling them like this is their job, but I mean communication's a two-way. It's two ways. It
Right.
goes both ways. So I mean, if you're expecting to come home to a clean house and you're the only one pulling an income, and you expect the dishes to be done, and that needs, you can't just expect it and not talk about it. You
Right.
know,
Right.
and I think that's
Right.
where a lot of shit goes haywire with situations like that. Is the man, the breadwinner, whether it be man or woman, just expects this is what I want done, this is what I expect done, but they don't communicate it. But that's a little
Right.
off topic.
Right.
But yeah, we're pushing on an hour. You got anything else you want to talk about?
No, I mean,
We could keep going. I got to go to Penske. My truck's done and they close around 1.
right. No, I think that's you know, but yeah, I mean, just kind of a parting note, you know, is just kind of, you know, doing a little bit of maintenance where it's needed, right? And that's, you know, once again, the advantage that kind of we have is that we have a, you know, this group of guys that we could talk to whenever something comes up, you know, and we don't just have to sit in that peanut gallery in our brains and kind of wonder what's going on, you know. We have some close friends, you know, me, Chris, Yonk, and you know, I'm sure a couple other people in the mix too that we can, you know, that's, you know, suffering in silence is never a good thing, right? I mean, we always want to have some people we could rely on and bounce some stuff on. And you know, once again, just seek kind of normalcy in the balance or in the juggling act of life, you know, and really
Yeah. And I'll say,
there's always going to be work to be done, right? It's never kind of a completed job when it comes to the mind, body, and spirit thing. There's always going to have to be maintenance and kind of progression, right?
I think
If you ever feel like you're there, I assure you, you're not.
Right.
there's one thing I can say too, man, you know, and this is, you know, from the mind, body, and soul thing, you know, when I got clean in AA, it was just about trying to not get high and do drugs. I didn't care about what I was eating. You know, I was substituting sugar for, you know, that little dopamine shot that you get from, you know, a little snacky snack here and there, you know, and it's like,
I gotta stop doing that. I've been such a fat ass on the road because of that lately.
dude. And so like, and so honestly for me, man, I've solved some of my biggest problems on a treadmill, man, or pushing that setup, or, you know, getting
Yeah.
that, you know, getting that PR, dude, that you've been struggling with for the last, because I think lifting weights or some kind of, you know, physical fitness program, I think should be essential for just about anybody who is trying to blend mind, body, and soul, because you can have a nice body, but I'm telling you right now, man, the things that you get from going into the gym and working through that, you know, those plateaus that you get, and working through the, you know, that I don't want to even be here. It's 20 below zero outside. God dang, you know, and just going out and just finding the consistency to get in there and get something and make something happen. You know, it's like people miss that so much. It's like they're so worried about mind and soul, mind and soul, mind and soul, and it's like you're, you know, riding a bike with just one foot, you know, and you're only pushing the pedal down. You know what I mean? And it's like you're not going as fast as you could be going if you were using both feet. You know, and it's like I'm an insecure dude. I'm a terribly insecure dude, man. I've had trouble even wanting to lift my shirt off, you know, in the past because I was chubby and I didn't look good naked. And, you know, there's been so much about me that has changed over those years of getting sober and finding peace with myself and actually not being so ashamed to take that shirt off somewhere in a public place because I don't look like, because I need that, man. My wife deserves that version of me. You know what I mean? My kids deserve that version of me that my
Well,
job does.
it's not even the physical version. It's what it does for you mentally. I think too many people that don't work out, it's not always even necessarily from a lazy standpoint. It's from a comfortable standpoint. Like, it's working out's uncomfortable, dude. And I'll tell you what, man, my hardest days when I want to get real, I do some of the weirdest shit in the gym, man. Like, I get on that exercise bike and I'll fucking sit there and stare at that clock counting down and fucking just motherfuck that clock. No, and what's, you know what I mean? Like, shit like that. Like, this is how much time I have left. This sucks, but I'm focusing on what sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always feel better because you feel like you win a victory after. The other I've been going in on my really bad days that I don't want to be there. I don't wear headphones. I don't it's hood up, no headphones, and you fight through your fucking demons, bro.
That's psychotic, Chris. That's psychotic, dude. I will never walk in there without earbuds.
No music, no nothing. I just
no
want to hear
music, no
myself.
fucking deal, dude.
Dude, I'll tell you what though, on the hardest days that I go in there with no headphones, a lot of times I get the best workouts, man.
Yeah.
When I can sit there and not that it's negative self-talk, but when I can kind of like motherfuck myself and be like, we're not doing this, you're gonna get it together. You know what I mean? Like more of an aggressive, you like get into that aggressive mind state where you can focus on like just pushing that energy out. Because I get wrapped up with headphones, man, and then I start playing with my phone, and then you know what I mean? It just turns into a set 88, man. But
I'm never going to get this set done with this shitty ass song. Give me my phone real quick. Oh shit, somebody texted me. Let me respond to that real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then some guy walks up to you, he's like, "You're going to fucking be on that machine, or are you going to fucking play with your phone all day?"
You're going to fuck your phone for the next 3 seconds.
His name's
No,
Chris.
yeah,
fucking noob. Get out of here, you noob.
Yeah, man. Everything
is new year and your new me.
No, dude, you're absolutely right though. And I like what you said about your wife deserves that. Like, I don't want to be some blown out 45-year-old. You know what I mean?
Right.
My wife doesn't deserve that. She works out. She looks good. She takes care of her. She handles her business. Like, I don't want to be that guy that has a hot ass wife and then I'm blown out as fuck.
Right.
You know?
Right. Because for me, because every guy that she brings up at work, I'm start scratching my head. He probably looks better than me, and I'm a fat piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, everything, dude. Everything goes through your head, dude. But it's like not, but now, like, not to be whatever. But at the end of the day, I know in my heart of hearts that I'm doing everything in my power to do the best and be the best version of myself as a husband, as a brother, son, father, grandfather now, and all that other stuff. When I can sleep well knowing that, even if everything was taken from me tomorrow, I can walk away with my head held high knowing I gave everything I could to it and it still didn't work out.
Well, and that's all I can do. Yeah, and it's about the relationships you have too. Like I've said this 100 times too. I could give a shit less that I don't have a 10,000 square foot house and a Bentley in the driveway. You know what I mean? Most of those people that hyper focus on money and that's their main focus and concern in life. Half those people are miserable anyway. Yeah. I'm not going to say all of them, but I'm a lot of those people are just as miserable as the people that have nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've worked very hard to restore all the relationships that I ruined. I've worked very hard to have a tight circle of guys that, like I said, and Tyler said, we can bounce things off each other. There's not going to be any bullshit. There's no filters. It's if you're fucking up, I'm telling you, you're fucking up. Quit fucking up. It's I love you. It's, you know what I mean?
I know. You guys been on my ass about this blood pressure, dude. I'm like, these guys are fucking at my neck right now.
But I think that's you can go through life and have practically nothing as long as you have solid relationships in your life. I think that's one of the main things people need to focus on. I hear too many times, I have a lot of friends, a lot of guys that will call me out on the road and they're in like with their parents. They don't talk to their parents anymore. And I've told them, I'm like, man, I lost my dad 20 years ago. You don't want to lose one of your parents and not talk to him or not have at least tried to like resolve whatever issues are there. You know what I mean? At least try and resolve, because then they're going to pass away but you have to, I consider myself one of the richest guys in the world solely because, and it's funny, man, because people will turn around and be like, well, that's what every broke motherfucker says. Well, motherfucker, I'm not broke. Like, you know what I mean? But I don't give a fuck about my bank. I really don't give that much of a fuck about my bank account because my bills are paid, my house is almost paid off, my truck just got paid off. You know what I mean? Like I sitting fine. But it's my relationships that I value the most. It's people, it's my kids, my mom, my wife, you know.
Dude, I have most of my bills on auto pay. Most of my bills are on auto pay. I never in a million. I remember when out back, 20 years, in no world would I ever allow a credit card to be auto paid. You know what I mean? No fucking way, bro. I'm gonna get fucked. That might
What do you
not be
mean
this
you're just
month.
gonna automatically take $20 out of my
Yeah,
account?
right.
Fuck
Hell
off.
no, you ain't, bro. Hell no. Now it's like
That's
I
a
don't
bag
even.
of dope, bro.
Yeah, I don't even have like the bills that come out of my bank account. I don't even look at it. Like if they're not an actual bill that's 50, 70, 100 bucks, I don't even put it into my Google Calendar to let me know it's coming up because it doesn't fucking matter. It's fine. It's just going to go out and fucking whatever. See you later. You know what I mean? Like I never imagined
Well,
I'd live a life
it's
like
wild what you can afford when you stop doing dope.
that. It's fucking wild. It really is. It really is.
Wild. All right, guys, I gotta hop off here. I gotta
All right,
go
bud.
get this.
All right.
Good talking to you, boys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love you guys. We'll talk.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, later.
All right, later.
Hey, Young,
Yo.
leave your